everyone, and welcome to UBS Trending. I'm Anthony Pastore. Thank you so much for joining us for part 2 of our continued series for 529 Day, which of course is May 29th. Savings for education remains a very important topic in the minds of all Americans. With inflation being the highest since 1981 at 8.5%, a lot of families are asking themselves whether they can afford to save for school. So to help us answer this question, we've invited 2 new guests affiliated with well-known investment firms that offer 529 plans. Our guests today are Sandy Palmer and Chris Stack. Sandy and Chris, it's a pleasure to have you both join us here for the show. Thank you for what you're doing to help families with investing in 529 plans and, of course, getting kids into school. And let me start, Sandy, with you. You know, the question really is, in this environment, and we're talking about an environment that's loaded with volatility and a lot of unknowns. Of course, we mentioned that inflation number, 8.5% in just the most recent quarter. How can one save for school in this current environment?
Yeah, hi, Anthony, and thanks so much for having me. And first off, I do want to acknowledge that it is a very tough environment right now. You mentioned inflation, market volatility, there's global uncertainty, there's consumer shortages, and that's just naming a few. And it's causing people to really think about, their investment plans and question the market. But I would say that those who don't let their emotions drive their decisions, they understand their tolerance for risk, and have a diversified portfolio, really are better positioned to realize their investment goals. And of course, the guidance of a trusted financial advisor can always make those decisions a little less stressful. Now, in terms of education savings, I would suggest you think about it almost as if you were thinking about your retirement savings. It's just a little bit shorter of a runway. So it's important to start early and remain committed. And this is why. So student loan debt right now is topping out at $1.5 trillion in our nation. Less than 1% of college students who receive grants and scholarships have enough to actually cover the total cost of their education. And here's a big one. About 56% of education funding does come from family income and investing. So it really does underscore the importance of saving. Now, if you don't have a lump sum of money to invest right now, and most people don't, start small and be consistent. Dollar cost averaging with monthly investments is a really good first step. And if you are an individual who has a plan in place, this might be a good time to consider increasing your contributions, even if it's by a small amount. Leveraging the power of compounding can really help you when you're looking at these pullbacks in prices in the market. It can be beneficial. So a good reminder is the result of a penny that doubles every day for 30 days. It becomes $5.3 million. And if that penny was taxed daily, it would be worth $110,000. Now, compounding in a tax-advantaged account like a 529 plan can be very, very powerful.
Yeah, thank you, Sandy. It's funny. They always say you don't really learn a whole lot in school that you can use in the real world. But when I remember learning about compound interest then, I said, how important is this? And then you get into this world of investing and you realize just how valuable it is to understand how it works. So that's a really good point. Thank you so much, Sandy. It is really interesting to see how even that small amount, just a penny, can make a big difference by the time a child goes to schools. Now, Chris, let me bring you in because there are a lot of grandparents out there that are certainly thinking about their own legacy, their family's legacy. Are 529 plans also effective tools for estate planning for grandparents?
Well, first of all, Anthony, thank you very much for having me. And you nailed it. Grandparents are the sweet spot when it comes to 529s. They accomplish many of their goals, right? So it is a very unique estate planning benefit in that it is the only opportunity for an individual to own, and in this case, not only own, but they in fact have daily access, liquidity, and control over this asset that is outside their taxable estate. And the flexibility that is afforded by 529 plans is remarkable, right? So it's available to all with no age limit or income limit or requirement for a type of income. So grandparents with unearned income can certainly fund 529 accounts. They're able to change the beneficiaries at will from different family members to others. and very generous funding opportunities, well over $500,000 per account. And when you fund the account, you're deemed to be gifting it to the kid, and so your gift tax credits are available. But again, 529 is unique because it allows you to use 5 years of your annual exclusion, currently $16,000. So a couple, and there's no requirement you be happily married, could do 5 times 16 times 2. So that would be $160,000 just using your annual exclusion. You also have your basic or unified lifetime credit over $12 million available. And there are other benefits such as asset protection that may be afforded by the state law governing the plan. Certainly under the federal bankruptcy code, funds invested for 2 years or longer are covered. So many, what I call collateral benefits.
Yeah, for sure, Chris. Thanks for going through that list with us. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who weren't even aware of, or maybe any of them, or maybe if not half of them. So that's really helpful. And you're right, grandparents really are the sweet spot. So it's not just mom and dad or the guardian of that child who can help to educate them, invest in their education, I should say. It's also grandma and grandpa, also aunts and uncles, et cetera. So some great opportunities there. Thanks, Chris. So Sandy, 529s offer a lot of benefits, and we've only scratched the surface here with a few of them. I want to switch gears, though, to what's inside of 529. It's not just about what the benefits are on the outside. It's about what they're made of. So what is my money invested in? And, especially as we talk about volatility in the markets, are 529s considered a risky investment?
Yeah, so, there are many different options out there depending upon your goals and your tolerance for risk, as you mentioned. You can build your own portfolio using a menu of ETFs and mutual funds in a number of plans. There are objective-based and risk-based portfolios too, and that can align with your risk appetite. The most popular that we see in the industry right now are age-based and enrollment-based type portfolios. And most of them move along a strategic asset allocation glide path. So as the student ages, it moves along that glide path, or as they get closer to their enrollment date for school. So I would think of that one in terms of, like a retirement plan as well. It's almost like a target date fund. And then in terms of like the specific investments that are under the hood in a 529 plan, most asset classes are represented. And then even these days, you're seeing focus strategies or areas of sustainability and ESG. So really, whatever your goals are, there is certainly an option out there that fits your needs. And as I said before, a financial advisor can really help you understand these options and can also provide a little guidance and education along the way.
Terrific. Thanks, Sandy. Yes, I agree. For working with a financial advisor, financial professional, is a really smart way to understand all of the benefits therein and to make sure you're really maximizing the investment opportunities. Thank you so much. Very helpful. So, Chris, before we wrap up, what do you think the future looks like for 529 plans? Because we have seen there have been a lot of changes in a couple of decades since this opportunity launched for parents and for students. What does the future look like?
Absolutely, Anthony. And the future looks quite bright for 529 plans. Congress really supports these plans and continues to support them, has over the past 20 years, making them constantly better and better. And there's certainly a need, as we know. Many private colleges and universities, over $80,000 a year currently, require that this type of program be supported. There is currently proposed legislation to make 529 plans even better. We're keeping an eye on one provision that would allow unused funds after 10 years to be converted to a Roth IRA for the owner or beneficiary. So we're very excited about the future, the prospects. The outlook is quite bright. And I'm very enthused about participating in these plans.
Excellent. Chris, thank you so much. And Sandy, thank you. This has been such a great conversation. And I know there are a lot of folks out there who have heard of 529s. Maybe they're even investing in them, but don't really know much about them. So this is really, really helpful. I appreciate both of you dropping by. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Terrific. And if anybody's interested in learning more about the Franklin Templeton 529 College Savings Plan or the Future Scholar 529 Plan, please take a look at these two websites that are right up on your screen right now, www.franklintempleton.com and futurescholar.com. Some great information on both of those websites. So again, thank you to Sandy and Chris for sharing that with us. And to learn more about 529 college savings offerings, as we've said, make sure to reach out to your financial advisor to discuss your own portfolio. And don't forget to follow UBS on social media. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Plus, you can check out all of our past UBS Trending episodes on demand on the website and on the UBS YouTube channel. Until next time, I'm Anthony Pastore. Thanks for joining us. Happy 529 Day, everybody. Remember to keep your eyes on what's trending. We'll see you soon.